Welcome, everybody. This is the Theme Park Factory Podcast, 407-805-1901. We are live streaming on TikTok, and of course, you can get this show anywhere and everywhere podcasts are available. Give us a call. We're going to build a community here, so keep it family-friendly, folks. We're going to talk Disney, cartoons, animation, puppetry, lots of technology, anything that you can think of that inspires you to want to get out and go to the theme parks. 407-805-1901. This is the very first episode of the Theme Park Factory Podcast. We're streaming live on TikTok. You'll be able to listen to it on YouTube later, and of course, everywhere and anywhere you get your podcast. I'm just vamping now because I see there's a lot more of this music left, and that's totally fine. 407-805-1901, and I'm going to start this thing off just really highlighting, this amazing trip that so many of you joined me on this past week. Unknowingly, I booked this thing, not knowing I'd come out the other end with a community, and it's amazing that we have that now. Hey, Dennis, and I'm going to try to say hi to everyone as we do this, but at the same time, with everything going on, hey, one more time, 407-805-1901. Such a great community that I thought finally I'd been thinking about doing a podcast. I thought now would be the time to finally bring it all together. There were so many wonderful people, Dennis and Karen and Jessica and Jenna and Jenny and Jeff and DJ and so many people and Young Pilot. I mean, I'm never one to remember names, okay? I can tell you everybody who's been in any movie ever. The fact that I know all of your names just speaks to, not only how interesting it all was, but how much of a bond we all formed. Going to the Disney parks by yourself is one thing, but going with a pocket full of friends is another thing. So again, the objective here is to keep it family friendly. Okay, I want to hear from you guys. I want to talk parks, but not just limited to Disney. Okay, not just limited to Disney. I even actually the other day just applied for 5 different jobs. I reached out to a buddy of mine when I got back from Orlando. I applied for 5 different jobs at Universal Studios in Orlando to do the third shift repairs and animatronics and lighting. So, listen, I'm a Disney guy. Walt is my inspiration. There's others like Jim Henson, but I'm a Disney guy. So we'll start with Disney. But again, I've got so many things to talk to you about. Food, and I ate so much food on this trip, and then yet I'm watching the feed come in from the DFB, the Disney Food Blog, and I have so many regrets on what I didn't eat. So later, what I'm going to do, and I think I actually said this the other day on the stream, I'm going to Instagram things that I regret not eating, and then I'll be able to go back later and actually reference my own feed, and you guys can kind of regret along with me. So that's that. So here's the first thing. I get to the Orlando airport, and I didn't want to leave. I think you all know that by now. I get to the Orlando airport, and within 10 minutes of being in the airport, an email pops up, and then separately a Disneyland app notification saying, hey, come back, Oogie Boogie Bash. Then I get home and I turn on the TV, which is all digital. And for those of you who know, digital ads are targeted. And I start getting hit with all these targeted Disneyland ads. And I'm like, guys, really? You don't think you already have me? So I can't watch TV without getting hit with a Disneyland ad every single break. And I really think they're messing with me. And I don't think it's right. Disney World's better than Disneyland. Why? Well, so, Patrick, that's a good question. Or maybe you're making a point, but I will expound on it. One of our friends was on, and he said it best, and he said I could use this line, so I will. Disneyland is where you go for the original spark. Disney World is where you go to take vacation. And I couldn't agree more, and I'm ready to go on permanent vacation. Oh, man, what? I don't even know what we're laughing at. So, the ads? Yeah, well, listen, you might be laughing. I was crying because at the same time, I'm like, I kind of need a job. He did say it best. It was so well put, Dennis, so well put. So anyway, so they're targeting me with all these ads, And I'm looking at it, and I'm seeing what the SoCal pass is, and I'm like, can you just bring back the annual pass? Like, this wouldn't be that hard. I would buy it right away. Bring back the annual pass. That's all I need. And I don't know if they're going to do it. And then the other thing that I saw when I came home, and I don't know if anybody here can actually expound on this. What? They said spend all your money with us. They did. They already know they have it, too. So you feel like that they'd want to find some new customers. But okay, fine. I want the annual pass. Okay, I want that, ASAP. But now I'm hearing that there are signs being put up on the Disney World property that says no streaming. And the signs are on some of the, not necessarily in the park yet, but they're backstage. And then they're on some of like the ancillary paths around the property. So I think we're going to get to the point because, I was there for day one of Food and Wine, which was the day I left. Every other person was a blogger. And they're all running around with cameras. And at a certain point, you'd think Disney's going to either clamp down on that or charge a premium. So for me, coming back and getting hit with the ads and then seeing indications that streaming might not be allowed soon, I felt a lot of pressure to go back. So that's end rant one. No, I agree on that, Karen, but I think what they were posting on one of the news sites was that they were basically, it was getting there. So, hey, Lindsay, happy to have you here. I was just talking about, and thank you for the words on the podcast, but I was just saying how I'm going to Instagram all the food I regret eating either today or tomorrow in here, because I was looking at that last night and I was like, literally, I started running the numbers on how to get back to Disney World, and I just can't make that happen right now. But I did apply for 5 jobs at Orlando, at Universal Orlando, because right now I don't think you can get any tech work at Disney. I'm pretty sure they're not hiring from what I've heard. So wish you could stay helping out a friend with some plumbing work. That sounds like fun. You're a good friend. So, okay, so 407-805-1901. And I mentioned the other day something called Snafu. I think Karen had asked about this guy, this little pie-eyed monkey character. But, who's Joe Coconut, something that I created years ago. But I brought up Snafu. And if you know your animation history, Snafu was a series of black and white shorts. It was, I think, I'm looking at some notes here, 1943 to 1945, World War II, directed by Frank Capra, Dr. Seuss, Mel Blanc. All these guys were involved. At one point, Disney was going to produce them. I think Warner Brothers outbid him. But it is one of those elements of animation that I've always been very fascinated with, historically speaking, because, animation is obviously, as I think many of you would agree here, is a powerful medium. And it's, when Walt was trying to do features and they thought, oh, you can't evoke emotion with animation. That was an innovation back then. And so Snafu is something at some point that I was always fascinated to dive into. So if you're not familiar with Snafu, the shorts are up there. I just wanted to kind of reference that because it was in my notes. But just some really fascinating stuff. And and again, it's Dr. Seuss, it's Mel Blanc who did all the Looney Tunes characters. Go check that stuff out. They know they won't lose money because you'll pay. So anyway, yeah. Trying to do a live stream and a podcast at the same. This will be interesting. So the other thing I want to talk about is I put up on YouTube the Nemo ride. And guys, please feel free to call in because there's only so much of this vamping I can do. But I posted on YouTube the Nemo ride because when I was streaming it, it cut out. And I went on a separate time. This is one of those rides. I don't know about you guys. I spend so much time looking up at the technology above, the projectors and the reflective surfaces and everything. And I'm marveled by it. I'm just absolutely marveled by it. And it's such a, first of all, just even looking back at the footage I shot, it's such like a high fidelity, high quality ride, like in terms of the projection and the imagery, but such a simple ride. And I don't know. That's something that I'm thinking about. Like, how can I I still have the ride in the warehouse. Maybe I could do something like that. I don't know. So that's been toying around. But if you go check that video out, just look at the stunning quality of it. And again, shot on an iPhone. shot an iPhone. The playing field is leveled. And now again, with 100 Disney bloggers running around and the threat of clamping down on all this stuff, I wonder. I just wonder. So what I'm hoping to do with this podcast, and I know I'm rambling a little bit, but what I'm hoping to do with this podcast is both like straddle just the Disneyana of it all and then the Disney why of it all. So I want to hear from you guys. 407-805-1901. I'm still trying to figure out when to go to Disneyland. I think next week would be the soonest. But, you know, I'd really like for that annual pass to come back, and I don't have any information on that. So, and then the other thing is I started getting back to work on our log flume. I've got the backyard log flume ride that I was working on that, so there will be a video update of that coming very, very soon. And then I saw a kid who commented on one of my videos that he is turning, I believe he said he's turning 21 or 22, and he wanted nothing more than an animatronic. So I don't know if you're out there listening, buddy, but I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to send you an animatronic. So I have to fulfill an order later, and then I'm going to put together an animatronic for this kid and surprise him. So there'll be a video coming up for that as well. But I really just want to talk to you guys. I don't know if this is all overkill or not. Pros and cons on streaming, no streaming. Well, listen, here's the thing about that. You know, I don't know if you guys notice when I'm in line, I try very much to be cognizant of the fact that there are kids and families and not keep the camera pointed on strangers. Because I think that is one of the downsides of streaming is, you know, not everybody's cool with it, right? Like generally from my production background, when you're doing something in the public space, you have up big signs that says you may be filmed. And nobody's signing up for that when they go into parks. So I try very much to be cognizant of that the best I can. It may not be the most visually appealing thing for you guys on that end, but you got to be careful, right? You can't just be putting people's kids out there. So it is a tough battle, and I could see how Disney would like to protect that. And I'm not going to lie, it was out of control on Food and Wine Day, the day one of Food and Wine. I mean, it was out of control. Everybody. I mean, there was one group, they just had plates of food. They weren't, that food was going to get cold. They weren't even going to eat the food. They were just filming the food. So, well, thank you for saying that. You try to respect people like that. You know, that was the other thing that was driving me a little nuts is two things. A, you get people coming in on the stream that occasionally try to be a wise guy. But you see these kids running around the park. Like, as much as I want to respect people and their kids are climbing in and out of the fountains. They're climbing in and out of the planters. And I'm like, what is going on here? So I think Disney should clamp down on that just as much. So, anyway, what else you guys have to say? Because how do you regulate when you can't regulate any of this stuff? Really, in today's day and age, everybody's so litigious, it's almost impossible. It's almost impossible. You know, I made a comment to one of the managers there saying, you know, it's not until one of these kids falls and then sues Disney that Disney's even going to deal with it, right? That's the reality of that. That's the world we live in. But, you know. So, okay. I think at some point, we have to do like an official Disney meetup. That's for sure. But I'm still contemplating, like, do I go next week, or does anybody have any good intel on when the annual pass is coming? Because if the annual pass was coming, I'd be there all the time. And I really would just like to get, well, I mean, at this point, I think I'd really just like to move to Orlando based off of this past trip. But I'd really like to just get an annual pass and I'd be there as much as possible. But at the same time, you know, I'd be that guy streaming. So maybe that wouldn't help the cause. I don't know. Yeah, I heard that they're going to move to more of a membership model. And then, of course, there's also speculation that the Fast Pass of it all, much like what's going on in Paris, is going to move to a pricing tier as well. So we'll see. We'll see. But clearly, I'm not, you know, it's not going to deter me from going, but if I was a Florida resident, I would have saved a lot of money on this past trip. I'm not going to lie. I was like looking at like the passes on the way out now. Florida residents can go for $60 a day. It's ridiculous. I got a warehouse that's just, whatever. I digress. What are you saying, Karen? Yeah, you know, they gave me money. They gave me back my annual pass money. I've since given it all back to them, but that's what it is. And I really want to go. I mean, honestly, guys, I have nothing going on. We have nothing. We're not opening in the mall. That's officially, you know, done. I I'm trying to get out of the warehouse. Other than that, it's like I got time. So if they would just let me get an annual pass. So anyway, I don't know how this podcast thing is going to work, guys, but we'll shape it as it goes. So if you want to call, again, at the risk of being repetitive, 407-805-1901. But, hey, I understand. Maybe it's just easier to type. I want to go back to Disney. I want to go back to Orlando. At this point, like on the job applications, I was typing in there like, when are you ready to work? It was like August 1. Why not? All I'm going to do when I'm done this is take the laptop, sit on the couch, post everything, see the ads run up. That's the worst part about it, is seeing the ads. You have to get off the live to call. Get off the live to call. Well, that's a catch-22. But, I mean, this, be part of the content, Karen. You have to get off the live to call. That's a very good technical point that I may or may not have considered. But we'll see. I'm hoping, well, I'm not hoping. I know what I'll do at some point is bring a guest. I got a couple buddies that I think you guys would like to hear. And then Karen had somebody she had mentioned. But this will turn into like a real thing. I'm just not sure how to manage the live streaming and do a show. I've done radio shows in the past, but looking over here and tending to the comments does change the rhythm substantially. But whatever, we'll run with it. So I see, who else is in here? I see Jenna. Hi, Jenna. Karen, of course. We had Lindsay in there. Is Lindsay still there? Lindsay, did you get anything good from Target the other day? You left to go do a Target run. Did you get that Disney soap bottle? I kept forgetting to get that. I want the soap that... Hi, Jenna. I want the soap bottle that pumps out like the faux Mickey Mouse. Hi, Flying Sheep. How are you? Good to see you. And, and then I got to send my sister. That's the other thing, too, is I got to send my sister the sweatshirt I bought her. I got to figure out which one I'm sending her. That's okay. You don't have to do... Work is way more important. It's nice to have a job. I'm here doing chores while listening. Hysterical. There's not much to listen to, kiddo. But it's so nice to see you guys. It really is. And I don't know when I'm going to go back. And I feel like without the parks, I don't know. We're all missing something, but has it been around that long already, Karen? So funny. And it's like, that's where Disney just gets you. I'm like, great, you made just soap in the shape of Mickey Mouse. It's going to last 2 seconds on my palm. But, okay, great. I'll buy it. I'll buy a case. It's adorable. I'll put one at every sink. I'll tell you what, I'm going to get into this right now because I was going to save it to the end, but I think it's interesting, and we're amongst friends. So I get a comment. There's a lot of the whole Disney thing. Disney cancel thing is kind of nutty, right? Like I finally rode the Snow White ride, whatever. There's nothing wrong with it. But I am a avid Brer Rabbit collector. What do you do when you couldn't travel? You know what? I traveled during the pandemic because I was just myself, so I did travel. But it's tough. It's it was a very frustrating year. At one point, I had work to focus on. But then once that is gone and you don't really have any kind of like goals or anything, that you're staring at a deadline with, which would be a goal, it makes it very tough. So I'm thrilled to be bouncing around. And look, people say why, and I know I'm preaching to the choir, but like, why don't you go to other places? Like, I don't want to. I could live in Epcot. I'm totally comfortable with that. But so one of the things I want to say is this whole Splash Mountain thing has gotten out of control. They're going to reskin it. That's fine. Walt always said the parks were growing. The parks would change. The parks would never be finished. And I had made a video a while back basically joking about everything Disney should cancel. And I think I made a video showing my Brer Rabbit collection fine. And somebody made a comment along the way. And again, if there's kids watching, I'm not trying to be out of control. So just, you've been warned. But like, this is a nuanced conversation and I think it's worth having. There's not enough nuanced dialogue in the world. So long story short is I made a video responding to a comment where somebody had identified Song of the South as a horrifyingly racist movie, which if you've seen the picture, it's got issues. I just didn't think that horrifying was substantial or adequate or accurate. I feel like there are far bigger things that you could point to. And anyway, so I got called a racist. I got called a racist for basically putting up a video telling people to go watch this movie. And it really struck a nerve with me, because I don't think that, and I really appreciate the kind words. You're so kind. I don't think, and thank you, I don't think that there's anything wrong with having a conversation about history. In fact, I think one of the scariest things we can do is eliminate our history, because then we're doomed to repeat it. If we don't have a reference point, then we're doomed. And I think one of the things Walt knew, particularly with the parks, is that they were going to grow and they were going to evolve. And that was always the core mission. He knew that. They would never be finished. He said that many times. So I'm fine with Splash being changed. I don't have an issue with that. The issue I have is, even now, if you log on to Disney Plus, any of these streaming platforms now, they're all protecting their shareholders. You get a little warning, and that's fine. And where's the conversation? That's all. That's all I want to know. Where's the conversation? There are a lot of animated shorts, animated features that you could point to that may be problematic. I just don't like some 20-something who knows nothing about me or where I come from. Hey, Jeff, awesome that you're here. I was just getting into the Splash Mountain of it all. I don't like the fact that some kid who has no idea where I come from or what my story is telling me that I am a racist because I like the movie, or I even like the ride, rather, and that I encourage people to see the movie. I encourage people to see the movie to make their own decision and have a conversation. And that's all. And what scares me is, growing up, it was like, I'm a kid of the 80s, okay? Growing up, it became like, let's go after video games. Let's go after movies, okay? And it just scares me now. Like, are we going to get rid of all of our art because it's nuanced? I'm not a fan. So that's all. Gone with the Wind, perfect example. Hi, Sharon. You guys are hilarious. So whatever. So that's my thing. It's not even that controversial. It just really struck a nerve with me. And I think, there's a lot of things you could look at in our history that are problematic. There's a lot of things within the Disney history that you could look at that are problematic. I think it's a lost opportunity to not have a conversation. So that's my conversation about it. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. And one more time, 407-805-1901. I'm going to have a little coffee here. But it frustrated me. And by the way, the thing I didn't tell you, this is a kid, teenager, 20-something, whatever, that wanted a job. He wanted a job. And then, okay, whatever. I actually took the time to email him separately because he doesn't know. He doesn't know. It frustrates me. It frustrates me that, we're at a point now where, and again, I get it. The parks are going to change, okay? But, they're correcting the crews. They're correcting this, that, and the other. To what end? To what end? I'm all for change. I'm all for having a conversation. I'm all for enlightening folks. I'm all for progress. But again, if we just completely erase our history, we're doomed to repeat it. So we should not be surprised if that's the way things go. Wait, I feel lost, man. I had no idea you did this too. I feel lost. What are you talking about? Talk to me. Talk to me, man. I'm sitting here talking to myself. I got a phone. Call in. I just started doing this, except Frozen. But see, Karen, that's a different thing, right? And I'm with you, and I'm so glad you brought that up. The Frozen thing is like, oh, we need to inject more IP into Epcot to make it more kid-friendly. The topic was, that topic was Jeff, excuse me. Somebody was saying that because I was encouraging people to actually check out Song of the South and I was supporting Splash Mountain, that I was racist. That was the topic. But going back to Frozen for 2 seconds, I kind of put that in a separate category. There's been like a ton of IP injection, and now they're doing a lot of They're doing a whole build out in Tokyo Sea, the fantasy stuff, and it's kind of somewhat out of scope for the park. And so, look, the Frozen ride's kind of like, wah, wah. I love the Maelstrom. I understand the IP change. It's the change with, well, I'd say it's the both changes are without purpose, but it's, at least I'm okay. You know what? This is how I'd say it. I'm okay with the cash grab. I get what they're doing. But to change it because of the pressure, you know, to change it because of the public pressure, I mean, it's crazy. Twitter has too much power in our culture. Twitter occupies something of like less than 30%, or it's like mid-20% of like all online users are on Twitter, and we give it way too much power. So I'm sure that's a frustrating thing for people to hear. It's just my 2 cents. I just would prefer, in the spirit of Walt Disney, that we honor Americana and we learn from it. And I just think erasing things completely is dangerous. That's all. So, not a popular opinion. Can't help it. And I'm all for, listen, you have like the Tomorrowland problem. I'm all for the fact that that's going to change ad nauseum. Okay. I'm all for adding, characters into It's a Small World. I'm all for that kind of stuff. That's great. Just do it on your own accord. Just don't give in the public pressure. Do you remember the movie Snakes on a Plane? Do you remember? This is totally off subject, but Snakes on the Plane was some dumb title for a movie, and it was like one of these early internet phenomenons, and like it caught wind before the movie I think was even like shot or whatever. They were still filming it, and then like they went back and they had to like reshoot the movie because the internet had such expectations that when they took this movie to testing, like the number one comment was there weren't enough snakes in the plane. So they went back and they added more snakes in the plane, and they did reshooting. And the movie bombed anyway because it was just a big joke. Okay? So I'm all for like if you have a corporate mission statement, stick to the mission. I'm cool with that. That's cool. Do it for the right reasons. But also, much like this person's point to me was, hey, you have kids in your audience, you have responsibility, and I'm trying to honor that, and he's right about that, and you should be more responsible with your words. I would say to a company the size of Disney is you have a platform and you could start these conversations, and there's a lot of really wonderful jumping off points because of the catalog of films in your past that you could use to start those conversations. You could have some really great roundtables on Disney Plus. I would watch them, but maybe that's me. Anyway, 407-805-1901. It's only going to be like an hour-long show, and I've only been recording for 32 minutes. So I guess we're only halfway there, guys. If you want to call and say hi, ask questions or whatnot, but say that, then ask for a job. Well, see, the thing is, Jenna, is he was somebody who he had sent me like this long email, and he wanted a job, and he had all these great things to say, and that's nice. But then, like, to come at me like that, I'm just glad I never hired you. I mean, the opportunity didn't come to fruition anyway, but, there's a manageable way to handle yourself, which is why I took the time to write him back in a nice way. So. Anyway. Again, not a popular opinion, but let's be honest about things. And I don't know. I don't know. That's what I got. Anyway. I have a list here, and I think I've already gone through most of it, guys. So I would love to hear from you, and if not, that's okay too. Just write a question down here, and I'll try to answer it for you. Hey, how are you, Cap? There were so many people that we got to know. We're gonna have to do a meetup. Definitely want to do a Disneyland meetup, maybe a Disney World meetup down the line too. But I would love to just hang and eat our way around the park. All right, we're gonna go to our first call. All right, you're on the air. Who's this? Is it going to work? Does it work? Hello? Can you hear me? Check, check, check. Hello, hello. You're on the air.
Friends.
Oh, hey, there you are. Sorry.
I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I can't hear.
I don't know.
You can't hear me. I just wanted to call and say hi. I'm your first caller. Yay.
I love it. I can always count on you. You're so sweet. So nice to hear your voice.
Thank you. Nice to see you because you're hiding behind your lives when you're at Disney. So now that we all get to see you.
Jeff says he got 407. What's the rest? 407-805-1901. Well, here's the thing. Not only that, but like, it's even at 9 a.m. in the morning, it's Orlando, you're like sweating. So I don't want to put myself on camera like that. I don't want to do that to people.
I can understand that.
So you're going.
So when are you going back? We're going on soon.
I was just going to ask you that. I was going to say, you're going in October, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, the first day is September 28th, and I think it goes to October 3rd, 4th. I'll have to double check that. But yeah, for the 50th anniversary coming up.
And I feel like there was at least 2 or 3 people that were like on the stream at some point that were going with you. Is that accurate?
On the stream? No, I think they were all wanting to go though, but
oh, I couldn't tell.
I don't know if anybody's going.
I couldn't tell if like that was like Dennis or some of these other people. I was like, Karen knows all these people.
Yeah, Dennis wants to go, but I don't know if he can go. He might have to work.
And then you're a DVC member, right?
Yes, I am.
So can you tell me a little bit about that? Because that's one of those things I'm not totally familiar with. How do you even get into that?
I got into DVC back in 2002. I had family in Florida. My dad lived there. I have 2 sisters in Florida. So I was there frequently. So for me, it was a no-brainer. I was going there all the time. So Disney has a vacation club where you can, buy a timeshare. However, it's not the typical, here's your week of timeshare. It goes by a point system. So you can spend points like you spend money. So say you're going there for the day, daily rates, weekly rates are different than the weekend. You're paying more points on a weekend. Different hotels are different points. Right. And say you have 300 points every single year to spend.
So I know people want to hear you. It's unfortunate because they can't, guys. You can't hear Karen right now, and I will improve upon the setup as we go.
Oh,
just the way it's set up because I'm
sorry.
No, you're fine. I want to just reiterate briefly. So the DVC is essentially it's a timeshare program, but they don't give you you don't get park passes. That's a whole separate thing, right?
No, it's strictly a hotel. However, you do get discounts on an annual pass. And they give you discounts throughout the park on a whole lot of other things, of course, like an annual pass would give you.
What's interesting is I always, especially when, you do a trip by yourself, you can always just kind of chat up people. So many folks who have just moved down to the parks and live literally on I forget what lake that is right behind the park. There's a little community there. And that's just what they do. It's a whole contingent.
Celebration?
No, well, it's like Lake O something. I don't remember. I'm mildly dyslexic, I think.
Okay, I think.
Oka something. But they all can see the fireworks from their house, and I'm like, oh, I think that's where I need to be.
You're not talking about Golden Oaks, are you?
No. It was a lake right behind it because I was saying all that to her, and she's like, no, I'm even closer. I live, and she was pointing. She's like, I live right there, and I'm like, all right, don't rub it in.
So you've applied for 5 jobs now?
I've applied for 5. So here's the thing. So, and I'll kind of say this outwardly for everyone that's watching as well, and I'll fix all this tech stuff as we go. But I have a buddy that works at Disney World that I usually always reach out to. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be really honest. I was so hung up with you guys, I never reached out to him when I was in here this past trip. I totally forgot to reach out to him. And I don't reach out to him for passes or anything. I never do. I'm not that person. I just reach out to him because he's got good stories. I'll take him out to dinner, whatever, and I just like to hear what's going on. And we catch up. I've known him since I'm 12. We went to theater arts camp together in, who was I talking to on the stream about? New York. Was it you, Karen? Binghamton? No, somebody. Anyway, I went to theater arts camp at a place called French Woods Festival in the Catskills. And so this buddy of mine went there, and he's been at Disney probably for a couple decades now. So finally, I reached out to him when I got home, and I asked about who fixes the arcade games. And he's like, it's an outside company. I said, well, they're doing a terrible job. And he's like, look, you should check Universal out. Universal's hiring. It's totally within your skill set. They're looking for third shift, which is middle of the night, which is in theory easier to get. So I applied for 5 third shift repair jobs fixing animatronics and lights at Universal Orlando. That's my move.
I cross my fingers for you. That would be amazing. But how are you going to move a warehouse? How are you going to move a warehouse from California to Florida?
So the question is, Karen asked, how would you move the warehouse from LA to Florida? And my answer is a forklift. But no, I would get rid of a lot of stuff. I already am. I'm selling off arcade games. And then I would load up like I'd have to go rent like an 18-foot like Penske or something and pack it up with the rest of the games. Because I've got like a vintage Tron and some other vintage stuff, like a classic Star Wars trilogy. I have a pod racer, certain things I never want to get rid of. Now, are you asking me, someone's asking me on the stream, do I watch soccer? Do you mean football? But I don't know, Karen. I mean, I have stuff that like the more I stare at it, you know, like the emotional component goes away. You're like, oh, that's a great piece. I've had it for years. And at a certain point, I'm like, am I going to schlep it across the country?
You probably are.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, look, you ask a very good question. I got to get out of this warehouse sooner than later. That's the reality. It's not cheap. I could rent a house cheaper than this warehouse.
I can't imagine. Right.
No, I could rent 2 houses in Orlando for the cost of what this warehouse is. But I had a business, so at one point it used to be paid for. You know what I mean? So
I do. So you might be moving there before we're even going there in October.
But that would be such a good thing. I mean, I still have a house here that I'm not selling at the moment. I mean, I don't know. Who knows? I'm like twisting in the wind. Twisting in the wind, not a bad thing. But what do you do, Karen?
Well, you know, the only thing you can do is, put yourself out there and see what happens, and leave the rest to chance. I do accounting, but I lost my job last year with COVID, so I'm still searching.
I'm sorry.
I
could use a good
it's
accountant.
hard. It's been tough the past year, but we're making it.
Good.
We need just a vacation though, so I don't even know if I can wait till October. So
you just come up to Disneyland. We'll have like a big contingent. I know, like Jenna wants to go. We'll have like a whole Disneyland powwow. We'll get Jeff to come down from Reno.
Oh, he's already in California. Come on down, guys.
Well, Jeff's in Reno. That's Nevada.
He's in Nevada, yeah. But I mean, he's close by. You can drive that.
Oh yeah. Yes, there will be. So I'm going to answer this. And then, you know what, Karen? You're a sweetheart for calling in, and I'm sure I'm going to talk to you later. But I'm going to, just because I want to.
Yeah.
They can't hear you right now. Now I have to fix that.
Let the phone open.
Well, I have 5 lines.
Let the phone open for someone else to call in.
With the 5. Guys, here's the other thing. If you want to just call in, you can actually hear Karen, and you just listen. Jeff says he's aiming for his birthday next year. They might not let me stream by then, Jeff. Wait.
That streaming boosts Disney. I don't know why.
It's a no-brainer. I mean, I think there could be policy, but then you have to enforce policy. This is the young man, Karen.
Streaming will just bring people in. Okay.
He says, I'm inspired by you. My 18th birthday's coming up on the 22nd, and I'd love to build an animatronic. It's Deadshot. Are you the guy that commented on my video about that earlier today? Now I'm in total silence. It's fine. Guys, you can subscribe to the YouTube. And then now I am old. I call it the YouTube, but you can go subscribe to that. Okay, it's Deadshot. You can hear all that later, and then anywhere podcasts are posted. It'll take a little time to index, but it'll all be out there. All right, here's the deal. It's Deadshot. You didn't hear this earlier in the show, but I am absolutely going to send you an animatronic for your birthday. So go on over to my Etsy page. Let me know it's you. I'll probably double confirm on TikTok because, occasionally there's a smart guy out there. And I'm going to send you a birthday present. Okay, buddy?
You're awesome, right?
Thank you, Karen. Can I say your name?
That's so sweet of you.
I don't know if I can say Kovalda. Did I get it? So Karen, if you decide that October's too far away,
nice.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I know it is. I just want to leave the phone open for someone else, so I was going to let you go and have a wonderful day. But, yeah, don't know if I can wait till October.
No, you can't wait till October. Well, you know what? I'm going to message you about that later, because you should just come up here and hang. And if you've been through the year that I know you've been through, losing your job, because I'm right there with you, then you need the break. You need the time.
Sir. I do. I need a break. Well, thank you so much. Nice to speak with you instead of just at you on your live.
So fun. I just love that you were holding it down. Like, what were you saying in Nemo when it went to dark? You were like, the guest is currently. What'd you say?
I'm like, he's trying to find Nemo.
The host will be right back. He's currently trying to find Nemo.
Yeah, exactly.
I miss it all. I'm having major Disney withdrawals, major park withdrawals. So, all right.
I am too.
I will talk to you soon.
Well, have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, boy. You know what? I got to get the audio fixed so you can hear that, because I understand that might have been frustrating. And then there's like a delay in there, too. So I'm sorry, Karen. I didn't mean to step on you like that. I'll live stream on your birthday. Listen, guys, I'll live stream every day just to make sure I'm hitting everybody's birthday if that's doable. So that was so nice to hear from Karen. Oh, my God. She's sweet. It's so funny too, because like I'm running my mouth on the live stream and reading you guys, and then to hear like a voice with the face, it's awesome. So anyway, what do we got? About 15 minutes left here. Yeah. So as I was saying to Karen, I don't know how much you could extrapolate from my end of that, but I was saying to her, she has lost her job this past year as well, and is going to Disney World in October. And I said, Karen, you should just come to Disneyland now. Just, throw caution to the wind. And that's when I had said, hey, Jeff, you should just come down. We'll do a whole meetup in Ojena. So, anyway. It's Deadshot. What's your name? Just so I can reference it. And you're very, very welcome. Happy birthday. I'm going to send you something. Oh, we have a all right, let's do this. All right, you're on the air. Who's this?
This is Jeff, man.
No way.
Yeah, dude.
Hilarious.
I feel like I missed out because I jumped in and you were talking about stuff. You said you had a list of stuff. What was on your list?
Okay, so Jeff is asking what's on the list. So the first thing was like, I was talking about how the second I got into the airport, I got, like in Orlando, I got hit with a text message from the Disney app and a separate email telling me it's time to go to Disneyland. And I thought like that was not a coincidence. That was just cruel. and then I'm getting hit with targeted ads on my TV because I have digital television's got targeted ads, so they're hitting me with Disneyland ads
right
every commercial break,
right,
and it's just driving me up a wall.
Yeah, I've been seeing them left and right too since I've been doing a lot of like following you and some other Disney content people. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. But hey, there was one thing that's been going through my mind. I thought you would be the perfect person to talk to about it.
Cool.
And just throw it out there. You're talking about, the Splash Mountain thing and changes to the park. What would you say to getting rid of Autopia altogether?
So Jeff's question is, what are my thoughts on getting rid of, and I can never say it right, Autopia? I think like these old school things deserve to stay. I mean, would you skin it, or are you saying just get rid of it altogether?
Well, probably get rid of it altogether, or because of the area, the square acreage, I would say alone that track takes up. Just, I don't know, in my head, could be put to so much better use.
Yeah. No, I mean, you especially if you want them to bring in like a Tron coaster.
Well, that's one thing I was thinking. I don't know if they would have that much room or not, but or just expanding on Tomorrowland, which has always been kind of second shelf, if you know what I'm saying.
So when I was streaming from Disneyland, I think it was the first day they opened, or one of those the first couple times, and I think you were on the stream.
Yeah, the first couple days. Yeah,
and I wrote it. Did you see that when I rode Autopia?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was there the whole. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that was the first time I think I rode that ride in like, I don't know, forever, like 10 plus years. I mean, because obviously I grew up going to Disney
And
World.
how many visits to Disneyland were in that 10 plus years?
So many. But it was so much fun, and I had
Right.
forgotten. So I feel like it is kind of a forgotten ride in that respect. So look, I mean, listen, the real question is, how would the internet handle it, right? I think you could get away with getting rid of that
Right.
ride.
Right. I mean, look at the outcry that happens for Splash Mountain, or that happened for Pirates. When they changed all that.
Oh, I kind of like Jenna's idea, though. I think she's talking about making it like a Wreck-It Ralph, like sugar, like Vanellope von Schweetz thing or whatever. And I am here.
Ooh, well, I don't know.
I'm assuming that's what she means, like a Wreck-It Ralph ride. But I don't know. I mean, look, if they're taking it out to put in Tron coasters, sign me up. Super Rush, Sugar Rush. Oh, I don't know. I've only seen Wreck-It Ralph like once or twice, but
Right.
you know what I mean? If you're doing something like that, that's a major upgrade. So I don't think you're going to get any negative feedback there. But, if you said, hey, rip out the Matterhorn, no.
Right. Yeah, no way in hell.
But let me ask you this, Jeff, because the Nemo sub ride is kind of static. That's not really like, I know that there was logistical issues years ago, but what do you think about getting rid of something like that?
Well, I know that it kind of goes underneath the Autopia at one point, right? It then hooks back around to where it loads up. So if you were to get rid of Autopia, I think that would have to go too, unless they figured out something unique to do with it. But I don't, not talking about the ride specifically, but that view, that panoramic, picturesque view that you get right there between the Matterhorn and the water.
Yeah.
I would not give that up for anything.
No, it's a really nice view.
The ride itself,
No, the Nemo ride's too claustrophobic for me.
Yeah. And in today's issued society with the pandemic and all that, it's probably best. But I actually heard they were bringing it back.
Somebody just wrote here, Jeff, this is great. Turn into Steamboat Willie. I mean, you don't even need to make it a ride. Just have a steamboat in the water.
True. That'd be a good little kid's ride.
Interesting. So you got the wheels turning now, because I again, like the reskins, whatever. I think when I finally went on Snow White, I was like, I couldn't even tell you what's changed. To me, it's all new again. So,
Right.
And I went on, what was the ride before that? Was it 10,000 Leagues?
Well, I think it was originally when it was first put in. No, was it? Yeah, it was 10,000 Leagues when it was first put in, and then they kind of changed the subs to what they were kind of roughly before they went to Nemo, right?
Yeah, there was a period there where I think it just sat, and I had always heard that they couldn't drain, and I don't remember if this is now Disney World or Disneyland, they couldn't drain the water because it would all cave in.
Oh, really?
So
I don't know about that. I think they'd have to when they did the whole Nemo thing.
Karen says she used to call that ride Feed Under the Water. What? I can never get the number right. I always hesitate to say the ride name. I'm like, is it 100,000? 10? How many leagues? Clearly.
It was 20,000.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, you know better than me. I have no clue. So when is your birthday, and when are you going back to Disneyland?
Well, I haven't been in almost a decade. I'm hoping, because just like you, I had, lost my job and stuff like that. I'm just now trying to get back into it. But I'm hoping to do it by my birthday next year.
So is this a common theme? And I'm going to ask this to you, but I'm asking it to everyone watching. Jeff lost his job this year too. How many people, if I may ask, lost their job during this pandemic? Is that most of us? I have a feeling. What did you do, Jeff?
It's what gave me the free time to follow you all day.
It gave me the free time to create an account. Lindsay, I'm on the phone with Jeff right now. I will fix this for next time. Listen, Jeff, thank you for calling. I'm going to keep moving just because until the audio's out there. But man, I'm sorry you lost your job. But I didn't catch your answer though. What did you do though?
Well, kind of a mix of bunch of stuff. For years, I did mostly security loss prevention.
Okay.
But I've just been doing at-home call center work now.
Okay. Well, hopefully you're able to get. You said you're looking at some work right now and everything.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to get on with a company right now, and training will start at the beginning of next month.
All right. Well, we're all crossing our fingers for you.
Thank you, sir.
No, of course. And Lionel here.
Are you posting somewhere that I'm missing that you're doing these little podcasts or whatever you call them? I had no idea you were even doing one today.
I just decided to do it. I put the event up on TikTok, and then like the last 2 videos I posted, I put like I tied it to the event.
Okay.
And then the day after I got back, I kind of just did a merch haul live thing spontaneously, and I said I'd start doing it. So you didn't really miss much. And quite frankly, if I was listening, I would say this was a pretty boring first show, but it's more an excuse to catch up with all you guys. So it'll get better.
Right on. Well, hey, yeah, I had a blast on that Disney World one too. I was looking forward to that one. You had gone back to Disneyland, and I followed you, and you had mentioned you were going, the next week for your birthday. So.
No, I was thrilled to see you there, man. I it all started on a Disneyland trip, and we just keep going. So,
was that your first?
Well, no, that was my first. That was the first time back. Wasn't that opening day? Was that opening day? Reopening day?
It was just after you had. I don't know if you did. It wasn't opening day that I did followed you that day, but it was like the first week at least.
Okay, because I did go reopening day. That may shock you.
Yeah, no, I saw that afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've been to Disneyland too many times to count this past year. But I was an AP, so it's like it's brutal.
Right. Well, everybody's jonesing, man.
Yeah.
We're just now being able to get our fix. So I've been jonesing for a decade, so I'm doubly so. But I will look forward to the next one of these, man.
Awesome. I'm gonna try to keep it on a schedule. Do it every Sunday at noon, and if it changes, I'll keep you all posted. But thank you.
All right, brother. Be good.
You too, buddy. Bye. Jenna, I just saw you going to work. Goodbye. For as long as Filoni's. Wait, I want to catch up on some of these comments. I am off the phone with Jeff. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna figure out the technical side of that. I promise. Filoni's in charge of what? Filoni's in charge of. He didn't take over yet. Dave Filoni, by the way, is George Lucas's Padawan. That's my shorthand. What do I think about Polynesian turning into Moana? I have not heard that. Is that happening? You see the look on my face? Hello. Well, I feel like Filoni and Favreau together are they're doing good work. Favreau is one of the guys that I'm going to try to get to call in at some point. I think he'd be cool to hear from for a few minutes. Anyway, guys, just a couple more minutes here. 407-805-1901. I know maybe calling in is not for everybody, but it's so nice to just kind of put the voice to the face and get to know y'all. We could, you know what? I'm going to make that note. The new Star Wars hotel, there's a huge conversation there. I like that. Great topic. Keep the topics coming. It's an interactive show, right? Right? Star Wars hotel. I have a lot of thoughts on that, as I'm sure you all do. So I didn't know. Can anyone else confirm they're changing the Polynesian to I love the soundtrack to Moana more than the movie, to tell you the truth, but that's crazy. I know they were refurbing it while I was there. I didn't get the message. I didn't get the memo. Well, you learn something new every day. If you're just joining, we are recording our podcast. We were taking your calls, and I'm going to hang here for just a few minutes if anyone else wants to call in. 407-805-1901. That's crazy. I guess I'm okay with them doing that. unless it's a giant jaw sand crawler. That's hilarious. Okay. So is it? They're still going to call it the Polynesian? I'm a little taken aback by this realization. So, anyway, guys, I really appreciate you all joining me. And again, just an excuse to reconnect with you all, stay connected with you all. Hi, Animal. Ethan, hello. It's so nice to finally get to hear everyone's voice and talk to Jeff for the first time. Jeff, I feel like, has been on multiple trips, and Karen spent the whole week at Disney World with us, and just, hey, we'll build it as we go, okay? And then again, also here to talk tech. So I know Jenna, who may have already left, had said the other day on a stream to come up with it. She wanted advice on how to set up a projector on a timer. I have notes. I'm going to come up with it and do a video for that and show you how to do that. And then we just gave away an animatronic to a birthday kid. And hi, Mason, how are you? And that's what we're going to do here, right? So, and I will Instagram at some point the food that I regret not eating. Do I think they will ever be able to refurbish the Contemporary? They are refurbishing the Contemporary. When I was there, they were moving the front desk, the check-in desk, up to the 4th floor, I believe. So they had just begun that while I was there. They had just begun construction, and then they shut down. I was reading on somebody else's blog that they are going to start moving. The breakfast is now going to move up into the California Grill. Need to go back to the food one. I could just live there, Karen. I mean, honestly. And I didn't eat enough. That's the truth. You had a burrito this morning. That's good. Anyway, all right, guys, listen, thank you so much. Appreciate you all. So much fun to again, hear your voices. Nice to talk to Karen, always. Jeff, nice to see Lindsay and Jenna and everybody else. And it really is our own little romper room. So I appreciate y'all. We're going to do this again very, very soon. Actually, no, we're going to do this every Sunday. So I will post this today, but you'll be able to hear the whole thing, calls included, on YouTube. And then subscribe to the Theme Park Factory podcast everywhere that you get your podcast. So thank you all very much, and I will see you all very, very soon.